Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Last week I shared with you how to make an all-natural liquid goat milk soap from scratch, and you all seem to really like that video tutorial. So this week I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a goat milk body wash. This is going to be different, much different than last week's video because this is not a actual soap made with potassium hydroxide lye. We're going to be making a surfactant based body wash with some goat milk powder. This is a cold process formula, super easy to put together. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you my full visual process and step-by-step tutorial of how to make this body wash. I'm also going to be going over ingredients, why I'm using them, and comparing and contrasting to last week's goat milk from scratch video. If you would like the full written recipe with percentages and amounts so that you can replicate this and scale up or down as you like with a full written step-by-step tutorial, please head on over to my Patreon campaign. This one will be available at the $5 level. The link to my campaign can be found in the description box below. I publish weekly tutorials and formulas over there, and we've been going now for about 5.5 years, so there are over 600 posts for you to take a look at and take advantage of over there, all in the skincare, hair care, candle making, and soap making areas. There's something for everyone, so I hope that you'll come on over, take advantage of it. It's a great way to connect with me and other makers. All right, let's get started. All right, so this week's formula is broken up into 3 phases. We have a water phase, we have a surfactant phase, and then a thickening phase at the end to kind of bring up the viscosity. This is much different than last week's tutorial where I showed you how to make a liquid goat milk soap from scratch using actual fats and oils and potassium hydroxide lye. This week's formula, we're making a detergent or surfactant based formula, and there are pros and cons to both, and so in today's video I'm going to be talking about the benefits of this type of formula. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and weigh off some goat milk powder. I got this one from Lotion Crafter. It's cosmetic grade full cream goat milk powder, and we're going to go ahead and place this in the bottom of the container, and we're going to create a little bit of a slurry with it with some glycerin. I'm placing it into this little strainer here because the goat milk powder has a tendency to sort of clump up, and I want to make sure we remove some of this clumping before we add the next ingredient in. So all I'm doing is putting it into this little strainer, and then I'm going to work out the clumps with a spatula. All right, once your goat milk is sifted into the bottom of your container, it's time to go ahead and add in some glycerin. Now, the glycerin in this formula is going to act as a humectant, drawing moisture to your skin, but it's also going to help us to reconstitute or to hydrate this goat milk powder. You don't want to just put your water-based ingredients on top of the goat milk powder. It will take forever to dissolve. The best way to do this is to make a slurry out of glycerin or some other sort of humectant. I guess you could use sodium lactate as well, but today we're going to be using glycerin. And we're using the glycerin at a fairly high amount, which actually in this formula just makes it feel very luxurious and conditioning. So I'm making a fairly medium to large size batch, I guess, compared to what I normally show you. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and take our spatula, and we're going to create a slurry. And what this will do is we'll create a smooth kind of homogeneous slurry so that when you add in your water-based ingredients, they will combine nicely with the goat milk powder. You won't get any clumping, or it won't take a super long time for your goat milk powder to hydrate. Putting it straight in water, it does dissolve. It is water soluble, but it just takes a very long time. It's just much easier to distribute like this. So that's what it should look like after you've mixed in your glycerin really well. Just make sure you're picking up all the powdery bits and getting it nice and dispersed. And then the next thing we're going to do here is add in a bit of a refatting agent. It's a surfactant, but it's used for its emollient refatting properties. And that is PEG 6 caprylic capric triglycerides. So the triglycerides in this formula help it to feel very emollient and luxurious. So we're going to go ahead and add this in. Again, giving this a good stir just to combine everything. So I'm making about 80 ounces today, and these will be available on my Etsy shop. As a finished product as well. Okay, now that that's combined, we're going to go ahead and add in a water-soluble extract, and today that's going to be in the form of aloe vera. So aloe vera is very soothing to the skin. This is a great combination with your goat milk. So we're going to go ahead and add in some aloe vera. This is aloe vera water, aloe vera liquid from Brambleberry Cosmetic Grade. All right. Just slowly mixing after the addition of each ingredient here. So the goat milk powder is going to have the same properties as using goat milk once it's reconstituted. And those properties include alpha hydroxy acids to help to show a youthful glow on your skin by gently exfoliating your skin. And goat milk is also a very soothing ingredient to add to cosmetics and soaps. It's great for sensitive skin. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our water. We are using distilled water here. You always want to use distilled water when you're making this type of formula. Okay. There we go. So it's in this phase that I also like to add in the preservative as well as the essential oils, because then everything is added in before you add in your surfactants, because once you add in the surfactants, there's going to be some stirring involved, and it's best not to kick up too many bubbles. And once you add in the surfactants with the water-based ingredients, you will create a little bit of bubbles. So I like to add them in last when I can. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and add in my preservative. Now today I am using some liquid Germall Plus. This is perfect for formulas with a high water content. And it's got a nice wide range of pH that it works with. So we're going to go ahead and add in the preservative now. Now this one is going to use a preservative because the pH of this formula is going to be much lower. So last week's formula, you might have noticed that I did not use a preservative because we saponified the goat's milk, meaning we turned it into soap using potassium hydroxide and fats. And once you turn it into soap, it is naturally preserved. You could add a preservative to a soap like what we made last week if you wanted to. It's not necessary. In this case, it is necessary because the pH is not going to be high enough to ward off any bacteria, and it's not preserved. The goat milk is not preserved by any methods here other than a preservative. All right, next up we're going to go ahead and add in our essential oils. Now I'm using a blend of essential oils, today of rosemary, lavender, and eucalyptus. So in goes the rosemary. Okay. Then the lavender. And then we're going to be adding in some eucalyptus. The eucalyptus we're adding at a much lower rate. There we go. Then going ahead and giving this a stir to combine. All right, now we're ready to move on to adding in our surfactants. So the surfactants we're using here are plant-based and very gentle, very commonly used in all sorts of cosmetics and skincare, facial washes, shampoos, body washes, shower gels. The first one we're using is cocamidopropyl betiane, and this is a plant-based surfactant made from coconuts. We're going to go ahead and add this in. Okay. The next one we're adding in is decyl glucoside. I like to get my surfactants lately from Wholesale Supplies Plus because after a certain amount of money spent, you get free shipping. And these are heavy to purchase in bulk, so it's nice to get the free shipping. And then the last surfactant we're adding in is caprylyl glucoside, also a very gentle surfactant. All right, now we're just going to go ahead and give this formula a stir just to slowly combine the surfactants with the rest of the watery ingredients here and the essential oils. It smells really nice. So the surfactants that I've added in are going to solubilize and disperse the essential oils in this formula. So you won't get any floating oils. It's going to be all homogeneous. So right now my formula is water thin. And what I want to do is go ahead and add in some thickener to create a nice body wash type consistency or viscosity. All right, so we're going to be using a little bit of glucose D to thicken this up. If you buy it at Lotion Crafter, it's called Surf Thix, D-O-E. I got this one from Making Cosmetics. It's called Glucose D. It's still the same thing. So just take a look at the inky. So this one will be added in as desired, and it's a little bit tricky to add in glucose D because it's hard to add it in cold. So it's good to warm this up in a little bit of a hot water bath before adding it into your surfactant systems like this. However, being that it's winter still, my house is a little bit cold, so this has a tendency to sort of seize up even after warming it when you add it in. You just have to work with it and make sure you stir thoroughly to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom or sticking to the spatula and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So my formula right now is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. My glucose D has been warmed up. So I kind of like to pour and stir at the same time when I'm doing this. And I know that's not going to be enough, but this way it kind of prevents it from clumping up and seizing and going straight to the bottom. If it was warmer in my house, right now, if we were sitting closer to like 78 degrees, I've noticed this has a much easier time actually combining when your formula is closer to 78 degrees and your glucose D is also around that temperature or that it's warm. So, but if you start pouring it like this, the glucose D has been warmed and you just stir it in the formula like this, then it's less likely to clump up. So just make sure you're stirring very, very well and checking your viscosity between additions of thickener. We're starting to get a good viscosity. Just making sure none of it is sticking So already I can tell this is starting to come up in thickness. And I'll continue to add more of this in until I get my desired viscosity, and I'll bring you back. All right, so I've gotten it up to a pretty good body wash consistency here. So this would work great in a bottle with a flip top lid or a pump bottle. So as you can see, it's got a nice viscosity. So I'm actually gonna add one more thing in here. This is totally optional. I'm gonna add some bubble wash pearlizer. What this does is it gives it a little bit of a opalescence and brings up the whiteness and the lightness and color on this. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'd like to make it look a little bit more opaque and creamy. So we're gonna go ahead and add this in. Bubble wash pearlizer will also enhance the lather. Again, this is an as desired type product. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in there. And then we're gonna stir it. And then you'll watch the opacity. It'll kind of become a little bit more opaque in color here. I think that goes well with a goat milk themed body wash. So I'm actually just going to add a little bit more pearlizer. You can add this in before the thickener as well, but it shouldn't really affect the overall thickness. Just a little bit more. All right. All right, so then we're just going to go ahead and bottle this up, and then I will show you a little bit of a lather demonstration so you can take a look at this one and compare it to the lather of last week's goat milk soap. It's looking really good. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and pour this into these 8-ounce Boston round containers, PET. They come from Nature's Garden, although you can get them lots of places, but they hold about 10 ounces of liquid. I guess I'm making a mess here. We'll go ahead and cap these off. And that's how they look all bottled up, and I'll go ahead and share with you the lather test. All right, so one of the differences between this one and the one made with lye is the surfactant-based one has a much lighter color. There's nothing wrong with the darker color of the soap-based one. It just is the way that it is based on the pH ranges and the changes it goes through during the saponification process. It makes it a darker color. So with the surfactant-based one, you can control the color on this a little bit better, and it just comes up to be a really nice and creamy white looking color. So aesthetically, I personally like the look of this one a little bit better. Even though I do think they both look nice, I think this one just looks a little bit better in color. And also the pH is a little bit lower. We're right around a 7 on the pH. You could lower the pH a little bit with some citric acid if you wanted to, which you can't do that with a soap-based formula. So those are some of the benefits. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you the lather on this one. I do also think you can get a little bit better of a lather with the surfactant based, although that's debatable because the feel of a soap, an actual soap lather, is much different than a surfactant based lather because there's already emollient properties from the oils that are used in the soap making process that make it feel emollient and creamy. So this is just a much different type of formula and a different lather. We're gonna get more bubbles with this type of formula, just activating it with some water here. You're gonna get more bubbles with this type of formula, and with the addition of the refatting agents and the aloe vera, we're getting a very conditioning, creamy lather as well. So those are just some of the differences. You can play around with both formulas and see which one you like the best, but see how we're getting some bigger bubbles here. It's a little bit harder to achieve with actual soap-based body washes. And for some people, the actual lather part of it is not super important. So again, it's just a matter of personal preference. This one actually feels really creamy. It feels hydrating and silky, almost velvety. So it's got a really nice skin feel, not drying at all. So there you have it, everyone. That's how you make a surfactant-based body wash using goat milk powder. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please remember to leave me some comments and questions below. That really means a lot to me. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everybody, catch you on the next video. Bye. Keep shining.